Day 7 of Amonkhet spoilers, and my God, are they are throwing the freaking sink at us with the uniqueness in this set. We got another gate. We got a Gatewatch member splashing to another color and becoming the first X-costing planeswalker. We got our 4th god, the Green God. We've got deserts as a land type. We've got a bunch of shit to go over today, and it's just from a flavor perspective, I'm loving the set, but from a card design standpoint, this is becoming one of my favorite sets. Period. So let's get into it. And let's just start it out with Nissa, Steward of Elements. Nissa, Steward of Elements, is a one green, 1 blue, and X costing planeswalker. Let me repeat that again. 1 green, 1 blue, so she's a Simic color. Awesome. X costing planeswalker. She has X loyalty, where obviously X is the amount of mana you put into her. She has a +2 Scry 2, so right off the bat, awesome. She has a 0 costing effect. Look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card or a creature card with converted mana cost less than or equal to the number of loyalty counters on Nissa, Steward of Elements, you may put that card onto the battlefield. And her -6 ultimate is untap up to 2 target lands you control. They become 5/5 elemental creatures with flying and haste until the end of turn. They are still lands. So, we've been I think people have been waiting for a while for an X-costing planeswalker. I didn't think it was going to be one of the Gatewatch members, and I didn't expect them to eventually. And they've made a point of saying that the Gatewatch members could go into other colors if their story and character lends to that. And Nissa actually, when you actually look at all the characters so far, Jace, maybe you could see him splashing into white. Maybe. But other than that, he's not a red guy. He's definitely not green. You could have maybe seen black, but unlikely. Gideon, I could have seen him splashing into red because he is a bit emotion driven. But I definitely could have seen, I couldn't have seen him going into black because he's not selfish in that way. Didn't really see him going in the green. Red's probably the only color I could have seen him go into. He's not a blue. He's not a thinking type. Chandra, none of them apply. Well, wouldn't say none of them. I would maybe say could have been black, but that's a stretch. And Liliana, none of the colors really match Liliana. Nissa, however, in the stories, or Nissa, depending on how you pronounce her name, we've seen ever since Kaladesh. Actually, ever since really the Gatewatch, Oath of the Gatewatch, we've seen her actually branching into. She's been exploring herself personally, learning more about the people around her, and becoming a bit more of a thoughtful character. Particularly when she learns about how the Aether is a part of nature in Kaladesh, we see a bit more of a thoughtful, intellectual Nissa. So she actually made the most sense when you actually think about it for the core 5 of branching into a second color. In blue. Honestly, I could have seen white, but we already got a Johnny, so blue makes the most sense because she's still a very controlled, emotionally controlled character. Now, as for the card itself, I overall really, really dig the card. It's a really cool card. I want it. I want it for my Simic deck. Actually, I have 2 different Simic decks, but I want it for my decks. I mean, it's beautiful that you can literally play it on turn 3, theoretically 2 if you got Mono Ramp. But let's say 3. You can play it on turn 3 for 1 loyalty, but crank it up to 3. In early game, granted in this format, early game, you could still see a 4/4 on turn 2, so be careful on that. But let's say you were able to get creatures out like Sacred Cats or Bay or something to give her protection. You can get her to the 3 on turn 2, on the opening turn she's in. Get her up to a 5. And then, or you can play the 0, possibly get another creature, and so forth and so on. Plus, you're scrying. There's synergy between the 0 and the 2 cannot be overlooked. It cannot be overlooked. Now, that being said, if you're playing this late game, oh yeah, this thing's a freaking beast. If you're playing this late game, first off, you might just honestly tap out for like 10 mana, pay the 6, and get 2 fucking 5/5 flying land creatures with haste and just smash in for 10 flying. But also, you can, if you're playing a scry deck, which you probably would be with this, or something with other scry other than her, you can know what the top card of your library is, and therefore pay the certain amount of mana you need for her loyalty, and then play the 0 and get out the giant huge thing. So this card is extremely versatile, extremely synergistic with its other abilities. Overall, I think this is a home run in terms of a design for the first X-Walker we've ever had. This is fantastic looking. Moving on, we have Rhonas the Indomitable. Our snake god. 5/5 for 1 green and 2 of any color. So, like most of them, they're costing either 3 or 4. It's got the best stats. Right off the bat, I can say it's got the best stats. It's got the same stats actually as Kefnet. But instead of flying, we have an indestructible death touch, which cannot be overlooked for the devastation that something like that could wreak. Because you can't kill it unless you exile it. And you can't even block this thing. You can't even chump block this thing with a bigger butt because it's going to destroy it. Even if it has first strike, it don't matter. Even if it has double strike and death touch, it doesn't matter. This thing kills it dead. Now, it cannot attack or block unless you control another creature with power 4 or greater. Figured that was going to be its conditional attack or block cost. And like Oketra, that is very easy to accommodate, especially since, again, to go harken back to a couple of the cards we already have in this set, that 4/4 for 2, 1 green, 1 of any color, put 3 -1/-1 counters on target creature. Again, let's go Sacred Cat into this. Therefore, you keep all your creatures. Easy as hell. Or, if you're not inclined to have that card, but you still maybe have a 2/2 on the field, it can, for 3 mana, for 3 mana, 2 of any color, 1 green, another target creature gets +2/+0 and gains trampled at the end of turn. This thing can actually turn itself on easier than even Oketra can turn herself on. Because this thing can turn itself on the first turn. Granted, you need to give it haste. But, point being, this thing is capable of doing things on the turn that it's summoned. And, if you got the mana, you can just wait until your opponent's next turn. You have your creature. You have your 2/2 right there. It's like, go ahead, attack me, bro. Attack me. I got 3 mana open. Attack me. Come on. I got a giant snake-headed man. So far, this is easily my favorite god. I love it. It's a giant snake man. I love it. It's great. It's awesome. Moving on to some of the other cards we had. We have Anointed Procession. Yeah. Anointed Procession. Procession? I'm for some reason I'm putting emphasis on the pro. Procession. There we go. Now, this is our third story spotlight card. It has Gideon. The gods here may walk amongst the people, but they are not with them. So we're continuing. So I'm getting a vibe that this is a Gideon story. A big part of this is Gideon's story arc in this set. Also, from the looks of it, I think I was right in assuming that we're not going to get. Oh crap! The Liliana's third demon into our devastation. We're not going to get that until then. But Anointed Procession is 3 of any color, 1 white. Enchantment. If an effect would create 1 or more tokens under your control, create twice that many tokens instead. It is literally the white parallel lives. No joke, it is literally white parallel lives. And that is freaking okay. Yeah, because I have a white token. Well, it's not quite much a token deck anymore. It still uses them. But I had a white token deck with Life Gain for a while, and I was using Parallel Lives. Add this and that, now we got 2 Parallel Lives for the exact. You can literally have 4 Parallel Lives in your deck if you so choose. Granted, that's overkill, and it might crowd your deck a bit too much. But honestly, 2 of each would just work fine. So 4 altogether. But seriously, it is literally the white Parallel Lives. I would use this for my soldier deck. I would use this for my white-green deck, which, well, it's still mostly, it's now more of a life gain deck, would still use it for the, still have some tokens out there. I'm trying to think of any other white decks I have that use tokens. I know I got a couple still, but I guess the question is if it uses tokens in a heavy enough style that would warrant me doing that. I could put it in the black-white deck with the, oh, wow. I'm blanking on the card's name. The 2/2 for 2. the flashback. You know, you get 2 spirits, then you flashback it for black and get that. Wow, I am I'm blanking on that. But yeah, I got 4 copies of those in there. Love them. Yeah, no, there's no underestimating that card. But point being, this is a perfectly fine card, particularly with all the embalm and token creation we got in this set. Oh yeah, this is a pretty awesome card. Plague Belcher. I love I'm not using my phone these days. I think it just makes it easier. It saves time. But you can obviously look this up. Plague Belcher. It's a freaking Mark love for those of you who don't know. Mark loves Warma Hordes, World Hordes, and not Warhammer 40k. What's the other one? Warma Hordes. Well, point being, Warma Hordes. And one of his favorites is Crix, the Crix faction, which is like zombie amalgamations and stuff like that. It looks exactly like that. Like a zombie. It's got that green glow and everything. It's like a bull or maybe a boar with giant tusks rotting off. This is a zombie beast. Now, this thing is, even at its weakest, it is a haxed card. It is 5/4 for 3. 1 black, 2 of any color. It has menace. Those stats alone are nuts. When it enters the battlefield, put 2 -1/-1 counters on target creature you control. Now, think about it on this standpoint. Even if you put them on him, he's going to be a 3/2 with menace for 3. That is completely playable. Now, when another zombie creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life. Gee, I wonder if you will be putting it on him. Given the fact that the next card I'm going to talk about is a zombie jackal that costs 1, I highly doubt it. Which means you will be getting a 5/4 menace for 3 mana and probably taking out one of your opponent's life just on turn this thing comes out. This thing is nuts. If I am in black, or if I get this card, I would be heavily tempted to be in black. If I don't have any other good cards to make it work, it's going to suck. But if I got enough cards just to at least make it a dual black whatever deck, you better bet your ass this card's going in there. Dread Wanderer. Zombie Jackal. 1 black, 2/1. Comes into the battlefield tapped. But you can play 2 of any color and 1 red black, 3 altogether. Return Dread Wanderer from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activates the ability only anytime you can cast a sorcery, only if you have 1 or 2 cards in your hand. So clearly this is supposed to go with Hazaret, that style of play, go into a black red deck, which is gonna lower your cost. While the recursion is nice, and if you're in a top decking strategy at the time, works great. But it's not as good as some other cards that have come before it with the exact same effect. I mean, it's a 2/1. It comes out tapped. Let's be clear. If this thing didn't come out tapped, this would actually be I would say this would actually be a pretty damn good card. This would be actually near mythic status if it didn't come out near tap, so maybe I can see why they made it just a rare. But, by the way, last card was a rare. All the last cards were rares except for the God and obviously Nissa. But overall, I can't overly get behind it. It's a great late game kind of stall card, but that's all it is. And even then, it's not really a stall. It can't block when it comes back from the grave because it says when it enters the battlefield. So, yeah, it's kind of But moving on, we have Lord of the Accused. We get another zombie lord. There's an Anthem and there's a Lord in this set. How awesome is that? Man, my zombie deck is getting such a fucking upgrade when this set comes out. It's a 2/3 for 3, 1 black with 2 of any color. Again, a very common converted mana cost for this set is 3 or 4. Other zombies get +1/+1, and you can tap this creature, or pay 1 black and 1 of any color, tap this creature. All zombies get menace till the end of turn. If you're creating a horde of zombies, this is your man. You pump them up and you give them menace. Yeah, that's scary stuff. Scary stuff. Then we have Grim Strider. It's a horror. As a child, I saw something walking in the distance, far beyond the Heckma, shadow dark and taller than the gods. Even now, it passes through my dreams. Some guy initiated of Nefkrop. Point being is that horrors outside that Kefma, which is, the protective barrier that keeps the horrors out. It is a 6/6 horror. 3 of any color and costs for 4. 3 of any color, 1 black. Grayman Strider gets -1/-1 for each card in your hand. See, there's this card that I actually use in my mono black deck that I can't remember. It looks like a volcanic glass like monstrosity. It was a 7/7. You probably know what the card too. It was, I believe, in Conflicts. 7/7 for 2 black and 1 of any color. I believe it said this creature gets -1/-1 for each card, and choose a player for each card in chosen player's hand. That card was leagues better than this thing. It's 4 mana for a 6/6, which is okay. It's cheaper than its mana cost, fine. But it gets -1/-1 for each card in your hand. Now, thinking on it like from playing sample, you're going to get this probably on turn 4, turn 3 if you're in the right strategy. But you're still probably going to have at least 3 cards in your hand, which means for 4 you're playing a 3/3 for nothing. That has no extra ability. This card is this is not that great a card. In fact, I wouldn't even call this a very good card to begin with. Now, again, if you're in the pre-release or a sealed or whatever, and you need that extra card and you're in black, it's fine. It's nothing amazing. Cryptic Serpent, 5 of any color, 2 blue for 7 converted mana cost, 6/5 creature serpent. Cryptic Serpent costs 1 less to cast for each instant or sorcery card in your graveyard. Given the fact that the Aftermath cards are a thing, and I believe they do count as 2 separate cards. Hold on, we do have a... give me 1 second here. Do they count as 2 separate cards? No, it doesn't look like they actually count as 2 separate cards. But they're still instants and sorceries that you're going to get in there, all that. This isn't that bad. I could see you, but if you, like, say you drew this on turn 5, or you had this on... Let's say it's turn 5, you've got 5 mana. And it's been a little while. So you played a couple spells. If you got 3 spells in there, that automatically brings it down to being a 6/5 for 5. That's fine. That's value. It's usable. I would honestly use it probably. Honestly, I might try to use it. Sun-Scorched Desert. Land. Subtype Desert. We have a desert subtype in this. When Sun-Scorched Desert enters the battlefield, deals 1 damage to target player. Add 1 colorless mana to your mana pool. Very basic, but it's a ping land, honestly. So if you got colorless cards going on, you can, ping colorless. Goes well with the Eldrazi decks. So it's okay. Now, Desert is going to be a bigger thing actually in the next set, from what Mark Rosewater said on Blog Talk. I'm interested to see where they're going to go with that. Plus, we are going to see some other stuff that is not in Amonkhet. Vizier of the Tumbling Sands. A 1/3 for 3 mana. 1 blue and 2 of any color. Cumin Cleric. Tap it to untap another target permanent. That could be very dangerous depending on the permanents we have in the set. Or you can just choose to cycle it for 1 blue and 1 of any color. It is perfectly fine to use. Honestly, I would sing as it's not. It's only 3 and it's a 1/3. I would just play it. Unless you're screwed over on like your tapping stuff, then in which case, yeah, I'd see. That being said, I can't say there. I can say, hell, with the pyramids of the Pantheon, I can see that in comboing with that and reusing that. Yeah, I can actually see this being some strategies being played out in this. Stir the Sands. We gotta seem to have a cycling thing going on here. Stir the Sands is a 6 mana, 2 black, 4 of any color, uncommon sorcery. Creature, create 3 2/2 black zombie creature tokens. Cycle. Cycle for 1 black and 3 of any color. So cycling obviously costs less. When you cycle Stir the Sands, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. So you're either going to say, hey, I'm going to pay 6 to get 3 zombies, which is not bad. Or you're going to say, I'm just going to pay the 4, discard, get a zombie, and draw a card. This is all going to depend on what your board state is like, what your mana state is like, and how far. If you are ahead, I'd say, honestly, actually, that's going to be the real factor. If you're ahead in winning, wait to play the 2/2 zombies. If you're kind of on the defensive, cycle the card. You'll still get a blocker, and you'll get another card out of it that might be better. So, yeah, it's actually versatile enough to go either way. I like the card, honestly. I'm surprised how much of the black cards I actually like in this set. Trust me, it doesn't change my mind on black. Black's still my least favorite color, but still can appreciate a good black card. Deem worthy, red. 4 of any color and 1 red for an uncommon instant, so 5 altogether. Deals 7 damage to target creature. Seem to see a theme going here. Cycle for, again, 1 red and 3 of any color. Again, it seems to be a pattern. I don't think we have any other ones of this cycle out right now. I don't think. Hold on, let me check that other one. Or let me check back here. Come on. No. If not, maybe they showed up earlier and I've already done a video on them. But cycle for the basically same convert mana cost as Steward Sands, except with a red mana. When you cycle this, you may have it deal. Yeah, you may have it deal. So you're gonna have to remember to do it. Deal damage, 2 damage to target creature. 7 damage is no joke. This is again a card that if you're ahead, wait to play the 5 and do 7 damage to target creature. Well, no, it's a creature. That's right. I was thinking player. And while there are some big things in this set, 7 damage is a lot to be saving. Honestly, you might want to just use the cycle and ping something. I think that might work better. But if you draw it like you're 7 turns into the game, or you're late into the game and you draw this card, play for the 7. Do that, absolutely. You'll burn something. You can't kill a guy with it, unfortunately, but excuse me. But you can kill basically anything else that's in the set so far. Then we have Shepherd Monitor, 6 mana for a 6/5 lizard, 1 green, 5 of any color. Cycle for, again, 4 converted mana cost, up green this time for 1 green and 3 of any color. When you cycle Shepherd Monitor, you may search your land for a basic land card or desert and put it into the battlefield. You then shuffle your library. Look, again, I think you're only ever going to play this as a creature if it's later in the game and you don't need the mana. Otherwise, you play this for the mana. You play this for the cycling from the get. Unless you either need the creature or it's that late in the game that you don't need the land. Play it for the cycling, because this is a great mana ramp card. Now that being said, it is a little deceptive. It's definitely not a oh god, what was the name? I'm blanking on the names of all these cards. The card is basically it was a 2/2, I think, from Shards of Alara. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I'm certain you do. Basically, it allowed you to search your deck for a land and put it into your hand. This is not that. Even though it puts it on the battlefield, it's a big thing. It still costs 4 mana at sorcery speed, so it's not amazing, but it's not terrible. Heaven, Earth, or Heaven to Earth. Heaven, 1 green, 1 X. Heaven deals X damage to each creature with flying. Earth, Aftermath, sorcery, 2 red and X. Earth deals X damage to each creature without flying. Both are fine. It's easier to cast Heaven. I honestly just don't like the Aftermath cards. That's one thing of this part of the set I'm not a fan of. I don't like the Aftermath cards that much. It's not like that. I don't think they're not useless. They definitely have use. You'll definitely find a way to use them, but they're just not my taste. Pyramid of the Pantheon. This is the combo, so you can do the untap thing. 1 of any color, artifact. Add 1 mana of any color to your... Pay 2 of any color and tap this. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Put a brick counter on Pyramid of the Pantheon. Add 3 mana of any one color to... Tap this. Add 3 mana of any one color to your mana pool. Activate this if there are 3 or more brick counters on Pyramid of the Pantheon. Not hard to get this thing to where you want it, and once you do, you're tapping for 3. It's a good card. It's a solid card all around. So, and last cards to talk about, we have Quarry Hauler, another camel tribal all the way across the sky. What does it mean? Quarry Hauler, and this card actually can this card can actually go well with the Pyramid of the Pantheon. Quarry Hauler is a... Where'd you go? 4/3, yeah. 4/3 for 4, 1 green, 3 of any color. Camel. When Quarry Hauler enters the battlefield, for each kind of counter on target permanent, put another counter of that kind on it, or remove it. Sorry, 1 second. Because it's nicer, we're getting bugs in the house. I just sprayed the whole area, but you know, you can only do so much. Point being though is yeah, that card can again work really well with this card. All you really gotta do is play 2 of these and tap that once for its mana, so or tap it once for its first ability, and there you go. Doomed Dissenter is a perfectly synergistic card, plus with other cards like +1 counters from the last set with wow, I'm blanking on all the names. Fabricate, that was the word. Fabricate. Doomed Dissenter. Doomed Dissenter dies. Put a 2/2 Oh no, I already talked about Doomed Dissenter. So yeah, but well, what I think I already talked about. Yeah, it's a 1/1 for 2. When it dies, put a zombie creature token in the battlefield. Lots of zombie creature token creation. But anyway, love this. I'm loving this set. Honestly, really dig Nissa. I love the green god. The white god's pretty good. Blue one's the only one I'm actually disappointed in. We still got the black god to find out. We still probably got a couple mythics to see. Pretty certain we do. I'll have to check that. But overall, no, I'm digging it. I'm digging everything. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. I'll be back with who will win tomorrow. And who will win tomorrow is Lord Beerus, the Destroyer versus Darkside. This was suggested. I can't remember who suggested it, but I know I have that written down. I'll make sure to give that person the shout out. I'm interested to see how this one's going to play out. I think I actually already know the answer to how it's going to play out, but just in case, yeah, it's going to be fun to write that fight out. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.